Hello, I'm Thunderflare Brony Analysis Extraordinaire, and it's time to cover Power Ponies. You know, people said that Daring Do stuff was commentary on the Brony community. Well, this feels a bit like commentary on the kids that watch the show. Spike is reading a comic book, and like any kid that reads a comic book or watches a TV show, he thinks the main characters are pretty cool. But the character he connects with, who's called Humdrum, is of course completely useless. You know, the annoying sidekick character that they always have to put into a superhero comic book. Because reasons. It doesn't help that at this time, the main six don't need his help as much as they often do. Uh, it does feel kind of weird to have Spike questioning his usefulness after so many times he proved how useful he is. But he is a kid. You know, he's technically a baby dragon, though in our years that could be as old as 10. Even so, that's pretty young, and it would make sense for him to, you know, forget important stuff like that. So I can let it slide, but maybe other people can't. I'll see when I check out other reviews for this. Now, another interesting thing they're doing is they're kind of inadvertently connecting it with the main storyline. Twilight wants to fix up Luna and Celestia's old castle so that she can live in it, apparently. Makes sense for some reasons. First of all, she's been looking through that library to try to find out about the Tree of Harmony, so it would make sense for her to live there so she has more time there. And she would be able to keep track of the Tree of Harmony and make sure it stays safe, which is obviously proving important. And as a princess, she'd be expected to live in a castle, and that was just right there, waiting to be refurbished. So, back with the main storyline. Spike finds out on the last page there's a spell that can take him inside the comic book world. Never-ending story style. And of course, the main six going after him because you can't let him go in there alone. So Spike becomes Humdrum, and the main six become the Power Ponies. Now, my initial thought was that Discord was behind this, because these arrangements just seemed a little too convenient. I mean, a team of 6 superheroes, well, that's believable. There's so many superhero teams that have about 6 characters. Sometimes 5, sometimes 7, but 6 is pretty much the magic number. So that's not too unbelievable, but the characters seem to fit too well with the main 6. Now, Pinky's the super speed character. Pinkie Pie was super speed, that kind of info, right? Rainbow Dash has weather control. Fluttershy is apparently the Incredible Hulk. And by the way, when she does Hulk out, it looks like the most terrible design I've ever seen in my life. Just thought you'd like to know that. Twilight is a character that shoots energy blasts out of her horn. You know, just like she does in the regular show. Applejack is basically Wonder Woman. Magic lasso and all that. And, let's see, oh yeah, Rarity's character is named Radiance. I mean, it just felt like it would make sense if Discord was the one doing it and he was just messing with them. And then when they confronted him, he could say, well, Spike learned a valuable lesson from this, didn't he? But whatever, it's not Discord. Can't judge an episode based on what I expect of it. That would just be ridiculous. Now, what's awesome about this episode is the villain. The Maniac is a great villain. And predictably, she makes a couple air puns, but she doesn't make very many of them. She makes a couple of them. But she pretty much takes care of all of them in the first encounter, and then just doesn't make any more throughout the rest of the episode, which is pretty good. I like how the main six were getting used to the powers. At first, they weren't able to get a grasp of them. I didn't quite understand why Twilight had trouble because it sounded so much like what she does normally. But I guess the Masked Matterhorn, that's the name of her character, I guess her powers are not magical in nature, and they work slightly different from Twilight's normal powers, so her old training was getting in the way or something. Yeah, at first they were all clumsy idiots with their powers because it was not quite something they were used to, but as they got used to the powers, they got a little more competent with them. And you saw a bit of progression in the competence. That was pretty good. And, well, the moral fit really well. The moral was obviously about how important you are. And I like the fact that Twilight didn't miss the fact that Spike was feeling bad that he wasn't able to be useful. Now, at the end, she said, "Don't worry. I know you weren't useful today, but that doesn't mean we don't need you." It's like, oh, it looked like you didn't notice that before, but apparently you did. You're doing it right. So this is altogether a pretty good episode. Uh, there are a couple of things that just get on my nerves. Some of the animation gets wonky, but it's kind of canceled out by how it's normally really good. Yeah, there are a lot of really good visuals and a couple really bad ones. Once again, this is just after seeing it once, well, twice really, because I had to see it a second time because my laptop decided to crash on me while I was like 2/3 of the way through it the first time watching it, and that was during the live stream, so I had to wait a few hours before I could watch it again. Just great, just great. And then I found out one of my roommates didn't pay the cable bill, even though I gave him money weeks ago to pay it. Let's not talk about my personal problems. Alright, well, altogether I like this episode. After repeat viewings, I might find more problems with it that often happen. See you next time.